In the stillness before dawn, when the world is silent and the mind hasn't yet remembered its burdens, there is a space, a fleeting moment, where something deeper stirs. It's not thought, not memory, but a quiet pulse of presence, as though your soul is gently knocking, asking to be heard. This is where the Stoic secret to tapping into your subconscious power begins. In silence, in presence, in the places most people overlook. For while Stoicism is often regarded as a philosophy of rational control and detachment, buried beneath its surface lies an ancient and potent doorway into the subconscious mind, into the deep, uncharted reservoir where true transformation resides. The Stoics believed that the greatest power a human could possess was mastery over oneself. Not mastery in the sense of domination, but in understanding the self so deeply that external circumstances could not shake the inner equilibrium. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But what is this mind he speaks of? Not just the conscious analytical part that reasons and reacts, but the vast undercurrent that shapes our instincts, our habits, our emotions. The subconscious and the Stoics, in their own way, had learned to access it. To understand this power, we must begin with a fundamental truth. Most of what we think, feel, and do stems not from conscious decision, but from subconscious programming. Neuroscience now affirms what sages have always suspected. Our minds operate like icebergs, with the visible part being a mere fraction. Below the surface, in that unseen world, lie our fears, desires, traumas, and potential. The Stoics, without modern terminology, recognized this dynamic. They spoke often of impressions, of emotional responses that seemed to emerge spontaneously. Their practice was not to suppress these responses, but to examine them, to bring them into the light of awareness, to refine the character through repeated contemplation. The subconscious is a realm of symbols, repetition, and emotion. The Stoics trained themselves to interact with it through discipline, reflection, and what we might now call affirmations. Consider Epictetus, who taught that we must train our thoughts, not merely manage them. He urged constant review of our reactions, continuous rehearsal of virtuous responses, and vigilant awareness of inner narratives. Every night, Stoics would review the day, a practice that modern psychology now recognizes as a powerful tool for cognitive reprogramming. By replaying the day, observing their actions, noting where they were led by passion or impulse, and correcting the narrative, they were, in effect, rewriting the code of their subconscious. Visualization, too, played a key role. The Stoic exercise of premeditatio malorum involved imagining potential misfortunes before they occurred, not to breed anxiety, but to prepare the psyche. In this mental rehearsal, they were embedding resilience into the subconscious. If you vividly imagine a crisis and practice a calm, virtuous response to it, your mind is more likely to deliver that response in reality. The subconscious learns through imagery, through vivid experience, and the Stoics knew this instinctively. By imagining adversity, they made peace with it before it arrived. Modern seekers often look to mystical traditions to access the subconscious, but Stoicism offers a grounded, clear-eyed path. The Stoic mind is not at war with itself, it is in dialogue. And in that dialogue, the subconscious is not an enemy to be conquered, but a friend to be understood. Marcus Aurelius, in his Solitude as Emperor, reflected endlessly on his own reactions, assumptions, and roles. He did not seek applause or divine intervention. He sought congruence between what he believed and how he behaved. That congruence is the bridge between the conscious and subconscious. When your values and actions align, your subconscious becomes your ally, no longer pulling you in conflicting directions. The Stoics also understood the power of language in shaping the mind. Their aphorisms, their daily reminders, were more than moral encouragement. They were incantations, repetitions designed to sink below the surface. To read, what upsets people is not things themselves but their judgments about these things, is to begin the process of rewiring your response to the world. Repeated often enough, such maxims alter the lens through which we perceive reality. The subconscious is always listening, always absorbing. And the Stoics chose to feed it with truth, with virtue, with clarity. Breath, that quiet rhythm of life, was also a gateway. While Stoicism does not emphasize breathwork the way Eastern practices do, the Stoics often recommended pausing, breathing, and observing before reacting. This simple act, repeated, trains the nervous system. It creates space between stimulus and response. That space is where consciousness meets subconsciousness, where the automatic becomes intentional. Seneca wrote of the importance of equanimity, of returning again and again to a centered breath before speaking or acting. Modern studies now confirm that deep breathing calms the amygdala, the fear center, and allows the prefrontal cortex, the seat of rational decision, to guide us. The Stoics were not merely philosophizing. They were practicing subtle psychological alchemy. Another entry into the subconscious was ritual. The Stoics, though not bound to religious rites, embraced daily habits with reverence. Waking early, reviewing principles, reading the classics, journaling reflections, these acts, performed consistently, created grooves in the mind. Ritual is how the subconscious learns safety, trust, and identity. When you begin your day not with chaos, but with quiet review of your values, your subconscious learns that these values are your compass. Over time, you become them. Resilience, that prized Stoic virtue, is not merely about enduring hardship, it's about reframing it. When the subconscious sees pain as growth, failure as feedback, and struggle as a forge, it no longer resists reality, it adapts, it transforms. This is not achieved by willpower alone, but by consistent mental programming. The Stoics did not fear adversity. They expected it, welcomed it, prepared for it. And in doing so, they taught their subconscious minds to be ready, not reactive. That readiness is power. In our modern age, overwhelmed by information and distraction, this Stoic path to subconscious power is more valuable than ever. We are bombarded by messages designed to bypass our conscious defenses and implant themselves into our subconscious fears and desires. Advertising, social media, news, they are not neutral. They are programming us. Unless we take conscious control, unless we become intentional in how we think, feel, and behave, our subconscious becomes a dumping ground for cultural noise. The Stoics offer a remedy: become the gatekeeper of your own mind. To do this, begin each day with intention. Before reaching for a device, reach for a thought. What kind of person will I be today? What virtues will I embody? Let these questions guide your behavior as you encounter challenges. Pause, breathe, observe your response. Is it automatic or chosen? At day's end, reflect. What did I learn? What did I do well? Where did I stray from my principles? This practice is ancient, but in its repetition, it reshapes your neural pathways. It trains your subconscious to support your conscious aims. And let us not forget the role of emotion. Though Stoics are often caricatured as emotionless, the truth is that they sought emotional mastery, not suppression. They understood that emotions are rooted in belief. Change the belief, and the emotion follows. This insight is the key to subconscious transformation. If you repeatedly remind yourself that setbacks are part of life, that they do not define your worth, that virtue matters more than victory, then your subconscious stops reacting with fear and shame. It begins to trust. It begins to help. There is also a deep serenity in Stoic detachment, not apathy, but freedom. When you no longer need the world to behave a certain way for you to be at peace, your subconscious relaxes. It stops clinging. It stops bracing. It opens, and in that openness, creativity flows, intuition strengthens, wisdom arises. The subconscious, when unburdened, becomes a wellspring of insight. The Stoics knew this. Their calm was not from denial, but from deep integration. In this way, Stoicism is not just a philosophy of life, but a manual for mental mastery. Its tools are simple but profound. Observe your thoughts, question your judgments, align your actions with virtue, reflect daily, speak truth, breathe deeply, visualize wisely, and repeat. These tools shape your inner world, and when your inner world is aligned, your outer world becomes navigable. The subconscious is always listening. It does not care what is true, only what is repeated. The Stoics chose to repeat wisdom. In doing so, they programmed their minds for strength, clarity, and peace. Today we can do the same. Amidst noise, we choose silence. Amidst chaos, we choose order. Amidst fear, we choose virtue. This is the Stoic secret. This is the power beneath the surface. This is the path home to ourselves. Let us walk it.